Good morning and welcome to the coverage of YCS Prague. It's the second one in this year. It's the fourth one. We're coming back to Prague because it's such a beautiful city, the Czech capital. And again, we have a high number of players with 1,027 players showing up for this tournament.
Yep.
There are a couple of stories going into this weekend, obviously. The first YCS Prague, if you guys remember, back in the days, like 3 years ago, we had something like 500 to 600 players, and Burning Abyss won that tournament. So that was, even back then, that was a big story because nobody was expecting that.
Yep.
And then it was Valon Letour from France, and then the year after he advanced to the semifinals with almost an identical deck, of course, again, Burning Abyss.
Against Kovacic.
Yes. Oh, yeah, right. That was the first time we had somebody from, what's his country? Is it Slovakia? I'm not 100% sure.
I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was a country we'd never had one before.
Yeah, let's just agree on that. Yeah. And then, of course, earlier this year, we had another exciting tournament here in Prague where we set almost a record number, more than 1,300 players, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was a lot. And it was the first ever time we had the exact same players in the final twice in a row. Like I sat after, I was in the office, I worked out like the probability of that happening. It was just insane.
Yeah, that is true, yeah. With Billy Break and Joschua Schmidt.
Being on the different sides of the bracket and,
everything lined up to that, yeah.
It was perfect.
It looked like it was meant to be, yes. Yep. And back then Joschua won. That was, I'm not even sure, I think the third YCS he took down. Second, he won Madrid before that, as far as I remember.
It was the third, because he did one in...
But speaking of the devil, for our round one feature match, we invited Joschua Schmidt back to the feature match table. Not that all that surprising. So we have two different deck lists. I'm just going to hand you guys these. We got Max Hanuschik on the one side. That would be Luke. You can basically analyze this. And then on the other side, we got Joshua's deck list. And this is really the elephant in the room.
Yeah, Joshua is going with the Spyral deck, to be very much expected. As the strongest deck in the tournament. He's playing very much the I'm okay going second build. The Spyral deck is now kind of splintered into a going first combo deck and a going second more stable against your opponent's interaction.
This is the official name of the deck, right? The
Go second Spyral.
Second, yeah.
I haven't come up with something witty yet, but we'll think of something eventually.
We got the chat for that. We're accepting ideas right now.
Yeah, it's got to be something on the fact that it's playing Spyral tough. It must be. We got to come up with something related to that.
We got the triple Spyral tough. We also have Cyframe Gamma. Gamma is something that's been discussed a lot by players, saying that if you actually want to succeed in this format, due to the huge number of hand traps, you have to play Gamma.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if that's actually a correct call from the players.
Right.
But so far, the logic lines up with, we're talking with some of our players. We'll hear from them a little bit over the weekend about their thoughts on the format and the various matchups. And a lot of them, even on camera and off camera, were saying, I think a Gamma is very big.
One of the things we heard from the vendors, for example, yesterday as well, they said that the most requested card was evenly matched. We also see that in Joshua's deck list.
Yes, he's maining 2 copies of evenly matched.
So you mentioned at one point you would only play main deck 1 and put 1 or 2 in the side deck, if I remember correctly?
Depends on how the format adapts, because now we've got huge combo decks, the turn 1 Spyral and Pendulum. You could, maining 3 actually feels like it has a lot more hits, but if you were going into a more unknown format, the card is just so strong.
Yeah.
Like, if you go in second, you can't just win the game straight off of it because your opponent didn't expect you to have it. So in a format where it was lesser known, like a format just shifted, I'd be tempted to play 1 in the main, 2 in the side. But Joshua's decided to go 2 in the main because the format's pretty well known. And he's got 1 in the side deck as well. On
the other hand, if there's one player who doesn't mind if he has 1 dead card in his deck, it's probably going to be this guy.
Yeah.
And what do we have for Max?
Yeah, so Max is playing the Pendulum Magician deck, which is good matchup to start with.
Right.
Only 1 Spyral. And yeah, it's pretty much the standard build that we saw at San Diego. They've gone down to playing only 2 Wavering Eyes because there's way less of them around, and there was a lot of top players who were saying, Wavering Eyes is only good against Pendulum, but you have to play it if you are playing against Pendulum. Because if they've got it and you don't, then really bad things happen. So yeah, he's got the extra 1 in the side for if he does play that. He's not playing any evenly matched in the main, which is as expected for Pendulums, but he's got 3 in the side deck.
Okay.
Which is it's slightly different to Spyral.
So he would prefer to go first, I guess?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Setting up in Pendulum Magician is way better because you can't really play too many hand traps well, unlike the Spyral deck can play like up to 12 hand traps and still function really, really well, just simply because you need to have all of the Pendulum scales in your deck. And if you fill it with hand traps, you're not going to get anywhere.
Is it fair to assume that if Joshua would win the die roll, that he would actually say, I'll go second?
I think, yeah, Joschua very likely to pick second based on how he's built his deck here. He's very prepared for it.
Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of odd because if Max wins the die roll, he will likely say first. So this is the beauty of the
this is
going
my
second Spyral deck.
One of my favorite things about this type of strategy is you are more likely to go second because you can always choose if you win the die roll, and if you lose, you're more likely to end up going second.
Yeah.
So if you build your deck with that in knowledge, you can control more of your starting matchups.
Yeah, it's actually really clever because a lot of people were like, oh, I lost on the die roll. It's like, well, just choose. You don't have a 50-50 chance of going first and second.
So it wouldn't be surprising that at the end of the day, Joshua is going to be like, I lost all my die rolls, I won all my matches.
Yeah.
So because that's exactly what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So the other big story, or kind of big story, we had a funny discussion at the scorekeeper's desk, who was like, can we just randomly drop like 4 players from the tournament? Because if we were to play with 1,023 players, we would only play 7 rounds today and 3 more tomorrow. But we just like were a tiny bit over the threshold. We're not complaining. Like if we have 200 more players outside, let's bring them in, no problem. But because of 3 guys, we're going to play another round. So they were trying to basically bribe AD and be like, hey, can we do something about this? We can hand out some extra prizes, for example, if somebody decides to play in the public events, which of course we got great public events this weekend.
We do.
As well.
We talked about that in the prize overview that you guys will see later. Yeah, there's all sorts of cool stuff.
I think the players are ready. We have talked enough, so let's head over to the feature match table for our first feature match of the day. So here we see Max on the left and Joschua on the right. As always, the poker face of Joschua going very, very strong. Almost see no emotion with this guy.
It's really intimidating. First of all, he's sitting down against somebody who's got a ridiculous win rate percentage, went to the World Championships this year, and a face like that as well.
I've actually got the win rates of both the players up already. So Max only played in 2 tournaments during last season.
Okay.
He played in a regional in Leipzig and then YCS Rimini. But just those 2 tournaments, he has a 70% win ratio. That's pretty good.
I wouldn't mind. I would trade places with him.
Yeah, that's a pretty good win ratio. Joshua having attended 18 tournaments.
Well, of course, he had amassed so many points.
And that's just the ones he played in Europe.
Yeah,
we don't have his US data.
Yeah, exactly. And he has a 78% win ratio. Joshua has one of the highest win ratios in the whole of Europe.
Right. Well, not surprising, obviously.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, if you go to Worlds, you must have done something right.
Yeah.
At least in this one tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. As we kind of predicted, Max is going first. Not that surprising.
Yeah. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries isn't that great against.
For Joshua, actually, the main thing that he would be looking to throw that on would be the Babushka, number 41, the terribly tired Tapir, probably to stop his opponent setting up with that turn 1 effect negation, so he can actually start to play his combos. So it's not completely dead here.
Okay, that's good. That's a good thing.
Max is starting kind of explosively. We see a lot of.
Oh, he has the Astrograph Sorcerer as well.
And double Iris Wavering Eyes as well. So he's going to be able to get 2 surges off that and then 1 off of Astrograph.
So as always, guys, I mean, I'm doing this fun game on a scale from 1 to 10, and we're not talking about pendulum scales. How good is this opening?
I think for Max, this is probably about as good as you could hope for at the moment. He's got a lot of searching. He's going to be able to get his good setup. He starts with an Astrograph in play. It's hard to put an exact number on it.
Well, we're looking for a general feel. It's definitely a thumbs up.
If I was Max and I was sitting down with this, I'd be pretty happy with my opening hand. I wouldn't be sweating buckets just yet.
Okay.
Joshua, on the other hand, he has Spyral Tough and Super Agent, so he does have access to double Helix if he can get that through. He also has his Terraforming to get his Spyral Resort, so he can then go for anything else on top of that.
Yeah, that's likely to be priority number 1, especially against Pendulum, because
it forces the activation of the
Time Pendulum Graph.
Time Pendulum Graph, yeah.
Yeah. At that point, you have to play Time Pendulum Graph to get rid of Resort. Yeah.
How likely is it for Max to read that, to know that this is what's coming, and what can he do to stop Joshua from doing that?
It should be 100%.
It's one of the fundamentals of this matchup. If Max doesn't use his Star Pendulum Graph to remove the Spyral Resort, he's going to be into a ton of trouble. Yeah. And he's also got to deal with the fact that Joshua could just summon Spyral Tough, use the effect, reveal the top card of his opponent's deck.
Maybe hit something.
He hits it, or if he doesn't, he then knows what he's going to do with his Spyral Super Agent.
That's brutal.
And he's just drawn the extra Spyral Resort.
Yeah. So yeah, in fact, I think there was some kind of ruling issue where Max didn't activate something. I think that's what Joshua was saying. I think Max forgot to activate the double iris when he was resolving.
Oh, he forgot to build the chain.
Yeah, he didn't build the chain correctly. So now he's actually he ended his turn on a field that's just nowhere near what it should have been.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. He's going to get obliterated most likely here.
He didn't even pendulum summon, so that says it all.
We kind of saw that before with players in the feature match. Well, we always talk about the bright lights. It might not look that bright at the moment when you look at the faces, but it does add an extra layer of pressure, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We actually have an open feature match area this time so that the audience can actually see the players live.
It's more fun.
Yep, Spyral Tough comes in and actually guessing correctly.
Just get the hit, yeah. So now, of course, he knows the top card of his opponent's deck, and then, of course, that makes it so much easier to summon the Super Agent. This deck is really like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how it all got tied together with Spyral Double Helix. The Spyral deck always had all of these cards accessible to it, but the Helix really made the easy to access the master plan.
Right.
And we're going to see Ash Blossom on the Double Helix, which is absolutely correct here.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Joshua's got multiple resorts.
So I remember when Spyral was first released, and I'm not sure if I'm like dreaming this up or something. It was either on a YouTube video or it was at the time when we had Jarrell Winston over in Europe. And somebody asked him about his thoughts about the deck. And what he said was that you should always try to get your hands on a TCG-only deck. And he was speaking basically on the back of the successes that Burning Abyss has had over such a long period of time. So he was predicting that this deck is going to be good at one point, without ever having seen any good cards at the time, so to speak.
Yeah, it's the second resort. He's able to use that more than once per turn. Yeah, we got something just to confirm what I said earlier. Yeah, Max didn't use double iris until after he'd already placed Astrograph down, so he missed the timing to be able to use that, and that's actually really key in that play.
Yeah, he would have been in a much better position had he been able to have his Star Pendulum Graph on top of this.
Yeah, then he'd been able to search another twice, I think.
And of course, it also takes a toll on you mentally.
Yeah,
when you think I screwed up.
And it's Joshua Schmidt, so it's like,
yeah,
you got a double whammy there. And yeah, Joshua actually coming down with a much weaker field than what Spyral's actually capable of because of the Ash Blossom being able to shut down the double helix. But
here we can see a prime example of the Spyral deck being a little bit weaker than it was in London. In London, it would have just carried on.
Yeah,
carried on regardless. But it was able to be stopped with just a single hand trap.
Yeah, the question is, does Joshua choose to pull the trigger on his sleeper and take out the skills? In doing so, he would lose his field because of the Purple Poison Magician.
Yeah, I think it's actually really... This is the reason why Pendulum Magicians is really good against Spyral. Or at least it's the reason it's able to survive against Spyral, is because Sleeper can't really break your scales.
Not efficiently, yeah. Back in Performer
Not
File.
efficiently.
Not efficiently, yeah. Back in Performer File format, you could just, or Metal Foes is a better example. You could just destroy the scales, and then if they don't have one, then you've won. But now it's more difficult. Oh, wow. He's got Pendulum Sorcerer. That's really strong. I didn't see that he'd drawn that, so he must have naturally drawn that.
Yep.
So that means he can pop both of his scales depending on if he's playing 2 targets for that. I actually think he's only playing 1.
It's quite a nice comeback, after that weakish start of Max. I mean, it could have been so much better, like we talked about.
Yeah.
And Joshua does gain the upper hand, it looked for a second, and now suddenly it's Max again. We have a bit of a back and forth here.
Yeah.
Very nice to see that.
We were talking about this yesterday during the meta discussion. The Pendulum deck is really resilient. Is the best. That is the only word to describe it. It's really resilient. It's able to stick out all the way through to the really later on in the game.
It's going to be playing. It should be playing strong basically every turn, unless something has gone horribly wrong for you. Because you keep getting Pendulum summons. You've got your Time Pendulum Graph. Time Pendulum Graph replacing your scales. You've got your Star Pendulum Graph just taking options away from your opponent. It's got a reasonable early game, and it's got a very strong mid and late game.
Right.
Which in Yu-Gi-Oh's case is around turn 2 or 3.
I always get.
You said that.
I said that. I did say that.
I always get the spells and traps mixed up.
Of this particular deck.
Yeah, Star Pendulum Graph and Time Pendulum Graph. yeah, they're very similar.
Yeah, I can't see how that happens because their names are so different. All right, so here we see Max checking his extra deck, looking for options here. We didn't really talk about the extra deck. I don't think that's super important.
They're pretty standard nowadays,
exactly,
extra decks. So
yeah, you're trying to fit room in for your one-off Gofu, so you're going to be playing some Link Spiders, Proxy Dragon, and then you're going to play maybe Ningrisu to go with that.
But we do have all the information.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing pretty standard.
You're just confirming everything that Matt just guessed.
Yeah, yeah, essentially.
Right.
In the Pendulum deck.
All those hours of playtesting have been paying out.
Oh yeah, they're all for this.
Yeah.
Here's the question: does Joshua pull the trigger on his sleeper agent to take out his double agent and both of the monsters? Yep, there we go.
All right. So you said earlier that is pretty much good news for Max. Yes and no.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not good news, but
could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been way worse.
All right.
The resilience to this play is
He's shaking a little bit,
pretty good.
but he's not in a terrible position, to be honest.
No. I wouldn't have got the trap card there. He should have got. He could. Is it Star? Yeah, he should have got Star Pendulum Graph because then he could search Wisdom Eye here, and then trigger the Star Pendulum Graph. I don't know why he got the trap card now. He should have got that later. He should have read that his opponent was going to play Sleeper, in the way that he did.
Maybe we should write this down in case we're like interviewing somebody later, and we can ask that very question if you want. So that's one of the things we always lose track of, to be honest. So we can do that in our post-match interview, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. At the moment, it's looking quite good for Max.
Max is starting the setup, even under the pressure of Sleeper.
This could still go either way. These two are very evenly matched, so to speak. This is going to be my favorite pun for the entire weekend. All right, Spyral Sleeper.
Joshua going to take out the Purple Poison Magician and the Time Pendulum Graph.
Yeah.
That's a pretty fair trade, if you ask me.
Yep.
Okay, so Max has now been reduced to 1 card on the field, 1 card in hand.
Joshua blind guesses with the Spyral Super Agent, and he comes in and quick fix, and now there is nothing to stop Joshua going to be comboing off.
Yeah, and that's all
cards.
she wrote. Yeah. So just now we said it's looking not that bad for Max, and all of a sudden the Spyral deck kicks into overdrive basically, and then
he was starting to put something back together, and then just Spyral combos getting there.
But we did not see a misplay or something like that. You said he searched for the wrong card.
I felt like if he'd have, I feel like I must be wrong because it seems really obvious to me. But like if he read the fact that Sleeper was going to pop some cards on his side of the field, then he should have got Star Pendulum Graph and got Wisdom Eye, so that like Wisdom Eye off of the Joker, because Joshua didn't know about the Joker, he would have not known that. So Joshua played with the information he had. Then if he'd have had Star and Joker, he could go Star, Joker, get Wisdom Eye, trigger Wisdom Eye, and get something from Star Pendulum Graph, and then continue from there. He would have then at least been able to make an Exceed monster or something.
Would you agree? Matt seems to be thinking about this.
Yeah, I just feel like he'd have had more cards.
Yeah, I think what Luke is saying, the logic is there. I'm trying to wonder how big a difference it would have made in the long run.
Yeah,
when Joshua does
nailing that Super Agent was pretty big. So.
Well, statistically, what are his odds? I mean, how many spells is that deck actually playing? It's like what?
Yeah, it's like
17. Is that a 17? That's 11.
6, yeah, like 11.
Like, guys, if you see the handwriting, you understand why I didn't get that wrong the first time.
Yeah, he's only playing 11 spells and 19 monsters.
19 monsters, yeah. Kind of 50% chance.
Yeah.
Bit less.
Yeah, like he's already gone through quite a few monsters, so yeah. Okay. He had a pretty decent shot of it, I guess. Anyway, I think...
so what's going to come in here from the side decks?
Joshua likely looking at all of his copies of Evenly Matched coming in, because it's so brutal against Pendulum when they have to commit so many cards to the field to actually get anything going. What else could we be seeing? Not likely the Kaijus. I suppose it gets the number 41, but that seems a little bit lackluster.
Not great, yeah.
Magical Spring in Joshua's side deck. 3 copies of, actually, a card we've not seen in a while.
That would definitely go in.
I heard a few players talking about this morning. Actually, the Magical Spring against the Pendulum matchup, being able to take so many cards, pick up so many cards, and then just throw out one of your cards in the exchange.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, so you play 2 scales and you have your Star Pendulum Graph. I'll draw 3 cards, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Right.
Yeah, it's very good. Max, he's got evenly matched. I don't know whether that's going to come in or not.
Max is then probably going to elect to go second.
Yeah,
if
maybe
he sided those in.
Yeah.
Because he knows Joshua's playing the Spyral Tusk, which are way less effective if Joshua's forced to go first.
Yeah, I think that's probably where he's going to go. He's got Ghost Ogres as well.
It's very
so I might put both of those in.
It's very interesting how that changes. Like in the first game, we all agree that it would make sense for Max to go first, and now in the second, all of a sudden he's like, okay, I want to go second.
Yeah.
Is this something that Joshua would have expected?
Joshua's left his hand traps in, so Joshua was expecting to go second, I believe.
All right.
Yeah. In this situation.
Yeah, we see kind of reactive hand with Ash Blossom and Max C,
but then
Joshua
you're never going to take
out.
You're never going to take out Max C anyway, and you're Ash Blossom's still very good.
Yeah. Joshua opened Gofu, which is
that seems like a pretty good start,
really
right?
good.
And there's the evenly matched for Max.
Yeah.
And that actually might catch Joshua off guard because Pendulum decks
don't tend to play that.
Yeah, it's only good on turn 1 for the Pendulum deck because they're going to be committing so many cards to the field.
Oh my god. Now the question is, can Joshua Schmidt make the correct read? Or is it like no question for him? Is he always going to overextend here? Or is there going to be like a bit of a question? Well, sometimes I should overexpect depending on if I expect overextend if I expect evenly matched.
It's a difficult one. That I think that if I always do this, but it's probably why I never won a YCS. But I like to think that if I won game 1, I can be a little riskier with my plays.
Yeah.
In game 2,
just draw out some information.
Did we actually ever have a player agree with you there?
I think we did. I think Marcello agreed with me at least once on that logic of playing a little riskier.
It sounds like wishful thinking to me. It's like, oh yeah, Marcello agreed with me. So
he's not here to disagree right now. So
yeah, maybe you just did it as a favor when he was doing commentary.
Probably.
Did he put his hand on your shoulder afterwards and go, "It's okay, it's okay,
it's okay, it's okay. We'll get there."
All right. Well, very strong opening from Joshua Schmidt in the second game, and Max seems kind of nonplussed. So this might be his attempt to fake a poker face, so he can then maybe come back with evenly matched. Not just come back, actually, would be big advantage if it.
Ancient Fairy. This is a big combo.
Yeah, Ancient Fairy Dragon.
So it's a draw card from Coral Dragon.
But even though it is a big combo, we can expect Joshua to go through it with relative ease and
he drew Terraforming as well.
Good speed.
I mean, he's going through all 3 resorts this turn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he started with 1. He terraformed for the first one, drawn a second one, and now he's just using Fairy Dragon at the third one.
Yeah, and he drew a Terraforming.
So many cards in hand. I thought the guy that goes first has less cards.
Yeah, well, he's slowly gained advantage. Well, slowly is a relative term.
Yeah.
Swiftly gained advantage.
It's like you're talking about fighter jets or something.
Yeah.
And one of them is going only Mach 1. Oh my god.
I wonder if Joshua does make the read on evenly matched.
I would be surprised.
If a Pendulum deck makes you go first, you've got to be suspecting something's up, right?
You'd be suspicious.
Okay, that is a good point. Okay, I give you that. But then on the other hand, couldn't it be that you just think he thought you're going to go second again, so you're going to leave all those cards in that are only good
Joshua has now seen
an
evenly matched, so he knows his opponent has sided those in. So Joshua has now got more information. You see how he's put those cards back? He seemed unhappy.
That was the second one, right?
That was the second one.
Sorry. Oh no, he plays 3. So maybe he. Yeah.
Well,
okay.
But this is kind of strange now. So in Joshua's head, it could go 2 directions. Does he think, well, I've just seen one evenly matched. That means it's less likely for him to have one.
This goes, but he means it's in his deck.
Yeah.
So you saw how he put those back and he wasn't happy.
This is an interesting mind game.
Because I imagine from Joshua's perspective, he may think that this is a potential deck building error, and now he's surprised that he's seeing it. It's going to influence this match. But
yeah, he actually does seem a little bit annoyed.
Yeah, no, you could definitely tell his face was going, like, lighting up, basically. He was like, oh, wait a second there. And to me, it seemed like he looked at his opponent trying to read, do you have it already? Do you have one in your hand already?
Yeah. That was absolutely a case where he's definitely not doing the same line of plays. He's gonna be making something else.
Yeah, but then again, you see one on the top. how many do you expect your opponent to play? 2, I guess, right?
Maybe 2.
I think 3. 3 is pretty standard in side decks, and if you're going go second Spyral.
Max decided to ash him here.
Yeah, ashing the double helix is extremely strong because it forces a Spyral player to actually consolidate a lot of their moves into that, and then you stop them as opposed to try and stop one of their initial startup cards and then they have another one. You stop the helix and prevent them from getting to the master plan.
So even though this is going well for Joschua, Max has some answers here. He kind of hangs in there.
Joschua doesn't look or feel like it's going well for him right now. You can see he was running his hand through his hair and everything.
I'm not saying this very often, but this is one of those situations where I would not want to trade places with Joschua Schmidt.
Yeah.
Probably Borreload, maybe Borreload, or maybe Firewall. Firewall would get 1 card back. Yep.
Yeah. At least to try and recover some advantage for next turn. Yeah, I mean, to be able to play next turn.
This also mitigates evenly match because if Max gives up his battle phase to evenly match a Link Spider, I think that's not exactly a good exchange. Yeah.
So what's the correct move if you expect your opponent to have evenly matched, and how does it differ when you expect him to not have it? Is there a difference? Or is
you just leave as little resources on the field
as
possible.
Of course, yeah. So
you want to consolidate into something that's just a more of a singular strong threat, as opposed to, or something that's going to get you through your opponent's first turn. Because after the first turn, evenly matched massively loses its impact. Because you got to survive until the end of the battle phase to be able to use it. And in a deck like Spyral, if they're hitting you directly, there's a good chance that you're going out before it matters.
Right.
Yeah. So Joschua has made the right play here. He's just left. He's basically left one thing on the board that he wants to keep, being Firewall Dragon.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the Spyral Resort is also there. And if the Firewall Dragon, if evenly matched does get played, the Firewall Dragon can't use its return effect. But Max will give up his battle phase to do that. So it's not as crushing as, for example, if he'd have gone all in on a big combo.
Helix, sleeper, last resort, everything.
Yeah.
If he'd have put everything on the board.
Well, I really like the...
He could have.
The psychological aspect here. Like, you can really make a case that this was quite a back and forth between the two.
Yeah. There was way more to this game than you guys actually saw happen.
I actually love
a lot happening in their heads.
The way how Joschua looked at those cards and completely changed his turn plan on that information.
He was fussed, and normally you don't see that. Normally he's always like the poker player, like his face doesn't move except when he's speaking.
And the fact that Max is thinking so long about this, Joschua is probably thinking, he does have the evenly match, because he's considering, does he just go straight into battle phase, end my battle phase, take your field out, but that's inefficient.
So does Max now try and make it look like he doesn't have it when he has it?
Well,
I absolutely think so. I think Max should have charged out the blocks here and just started playing his Pendulum plays. I think that was the right thing to do. But still, he's going to get ashed here. He does have Duelist Alliance, though. That can continue searching for things.
So Max is giving it some thought.
Yeah, after this turn, evenly match is for Max is not anywhere near as effective. And Joschua does still have his sleeper and another terraforming for his last copy of Resort. And he can also use his Firewall Dragon just to pick up one of his cards if he needs to.
Yeah.
Fun thing with Firewall Dragon is when you pick up the hand traps as well. If you're already so far ahead, and it's just like, if I don't win this turn, I can guarantee that your next turn is going to be bad as well.
Yeah. All right. So good setup. We would agree that Joschua is ahead at the moment, or at least he's the one who's like steering the gas meter, so to speak, and Max is the one who has to try and fight back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like Joschua choosing to lower his risk to evenly matched has paid off for him, and of course he had the Ash Blossom and Maxi, so he knew he had a little bit of time, even though hand traps are less effective against the Pendulum deck.
Still have put in some work for him.
Yeah, now that the battle phase is over, Joshua's probably feeling pretty good. Yeah, he actually preemptively maxes.
Yeah, but he's completely dead. He's not going to...
Yeah, like against Pendulum, it's a maximum maybe one, 2 cards.
Right.
He's just not going to Pendulum this turn, is he? Like, he's going to play Duelist Alliance and then...
But he's now committed cards to the field as well that he's not going to do anything with. It just makes him a liability to Sleeper. There's a Duelist Alliance. Normal Summon has already been used for Performer Pal, Skullcrobat Joker.
Yeah, so he could go into Star Time Magician, but it just, I don't feel like Max has got anything productive to do here. He needed an extra search card. Instead, he's got an evenly matched.
Yeah, well, actually, he would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for that meddling drone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have tagged Joshua a
yeah.
treat with that.
Yeah, it'd have been like a +3, more than +3 evenly matched.
But what are the odds that there's another evenly matched among the top 3 cards for Max's deck?
Pretty unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that information got given away, but if you're looking to improve your game, guys, it's knowing when to abandon a plan.
That's true, yeah.
Joshua's master plan suddenly got left.
It's like
where it belongs in the deck.
If you just like looked at the faces of both of the players and you just went over that match in like 3 times the regular speed, that would be the one moment that was really, really standing out. When Joshua was like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
Super surprised. And
you built your deck wrong. Why did you do that? Now I can't play my cards the way I want to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's building your deck wrong. I mean, it seems less effective in that deck, but it's just a case of like...
Absolutely not. It was just, but you know, from Joshua's point of view, the way that he was playing his turnout, he had something in his mind of what he felt was the correct thing to be doing.
It's like you're reading a very long book and there was like an elaborate plot for something to happen, and then you're like on that page when you finally realize, oh, this is what's going on here.
YCS Magician is going to be able to remove the Firewall Dragon, but the issue with that is Joshua still has a Max C in play, and he's just drawn Regeki. So if Max plays into
Talk about holding all the trump cards.
Yeah.
If Max continues with the Pendulum Summon as well, he's just going to give Joshua more cards. Okay, he just passes the turn, and Joshua draws.
I think that's probably the best thing he could have
Joshua did come in with the Kaijus.
So crazy how he just like... I mean, of course, it's about how you build your deck and everything, but how he ended up with the right answer. And of course, he adapted his game plan. We have to give him credit for that. But it's really interesting to see how he's shifting gears so like fluidly with no problem whatsoever.
And it was for a card that he knows his opponent doesn't have the card he saw, but it was the fact that he's like, there is a live threat that I just lose the game if he has the other one.
Yeah.
So I'm just not even going to play in that reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though the odds were actually very low of that happening.
So here we can see the graveyard of Joshua, many cards in there already. But we don't see here is the Max C that just drew him some cards, because so many cards, even after the first turn in the graveyard.
Yeah, I think Joshua's in a good position here. He's got a lot of cards to work with. His opponent has no way of interacting on this turn. And there's an evenly matched.
Yeah. He knew that already, though.
Well, no, because didn't Max shuffle the deck at some point for a search? So he's now just found another evenly matched.
Yeah. However, does that mean that Joshua is going to be thinking, oh, well, he's definitely not got one in hand then? Yeah, I've seen 2 in the deck already.
That is, I think that's a fair assumption.
I think if Joshua pushes in, it's to win, because he has Regeki as well.
Yeah.
And he's got the sleeper on top of that, so Joshua very likely to be able to put up the 8,000 damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big red, yeah. I think Joshua's going to take this one down.
So let's see if he can assemble a field here. He does have all the cards to do that, of course. The question is...
Oh, you got a trap card.
Why would he not go for it? Is there anything that could stop him? I mean, a hand trap, of course, but he kind of knows that Max doesn't have a hand trap, right?
Yeah, Max has 2 cards in hand.
One of them's unknown, being the...
That is the evenly matched, yeah.
If he assumed that his opponent has evenly matched and still considers that, then Joshua only has 1 unknown card.
All right, so where does he go from here?
Regeki.
There's Regeki.
19, 19, 19 currently on the field. 28.
Here we go.
That's it. Wow.
There's some basic maths for you.
Yeah, that's enough.
There's the handshake.
And there is the handshake, yes. That is it for our round 1 feature match, and I have to say it did not disappoint.
Yeah, he does. He shows Joshua. He goes, "Did you know I had this?" And Joshua was like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
Joshua plays it cool. He goes, "Yeah, I don't know."
Now he acts like he doesn't care, but we know better.
Yeah.
We have seen it. We have seen it. We have video proof that he did indeed. Was super surprised when it came up for the first time.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's talk about that in our post-match analysis. Welcome back, guys. If you just tuned in, that was round 1 of YCS Prague, number 2 in 2017. Number 4 in total. It's the 4th time we're back.
I wonder why we keep coming back.
Yeah, I wonder too.
So it's on the OP team. They come up with their projections to say, all right, well, these are the cities we're going to. It's like, oh, Prague's on there again, is it? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I do remember in the first YCS Prague, we did actually do a country breakdown, and there were not a lot of players from the Czech Republic. I think it was like 17 or something.
Yeah.
But I think the numbers increased, obviously, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
We'll get to see a little bit later on, I guess, once we get all the data.
Yes, we will.
Right. So we're going to have Joschua in just a minute for our post-match interview. Before that happens, we can talk a little bit about the match. Like we said, if you just tuned in, the first game, what we saw with those 2 decks, you had the Pendulum Magician on the one side for Max. Joschua, as expected, with the best deck in the format, what he's almost always doing.
Yeah.
Most flexible deck, the one deck that gives him the most options. This is usually what he goes for because he assumes that he's better than his opponent when they're both playing the same deck. It's a fair assumption. And the first game, we all say, okay, it's very likely that Pendulum Magician is going to go first, and just that happened. So very good start for Max Hanuschik.
Unfortunately, Max misplays and sets up a chain wrong and misses out on a key search, which could have helped swing the game the other way.
It would have made it completely different. He would have had like 2 or 3 more searches.
He'd had multiple cards to actually interact with, but that was an unfortunate misstep from Max, something he's just going to have to move past for the rest of the tournament.
But we guessed it might have something to do with the feature match. As you mentioned, it is open this weekend, so everybody can actually see you. It's not like hidden in the back or something like that. And that does add a layer of extra pressure. Not for Joschua Schmidt, obviously, because he's been in that situation a million times. So
if there's a place to get rid of the misplay, though, in the feature match area against Joschua Schmidt, get it out of the way early, you know. That's a good place to get rid of it.
You have nothing to lose. Like against Joshua, if you lose, your friends are gonna be like, "Oh, it's Joshua Smith. Don't worry. If you beat him, you're a hero." So
yeah, that's true.
It's like, I started the tournament 0-1, but like that's the loss that no one is going to kneecap you for.
No, absolutely.
So Joshua then turns the game around. That was game 1. We're going into the second game, and the normal thing would be to expect Joshua to go second for the second time.
Yeah, he sides accordingly.
And Max then decides to go second.
Yeah,
because it's up to him.
Super interesting.
Because he's playing 3 copies of Evenly Matched in his side deck, and those come into the main deck, obviously. Otherwise, that would be very questionable.
Yeah, that would be weird. All
right, so Joshua goes first. Does what Spyral does best, like starts to go into his combos and all of that fun stuff. And as always, I can give you a representation of what it looked like. It was Joshua doing this, as always. He's not looking at the camera, so he's doing like this, he's doing like this, he's doing like this. And then at one point, he looks at his opponent's deck. And this might have been a dramatic reenactment, but it's pretty close to what happened. It's pretty close to what happened.
What is this?
Yeah. And that was when Joshua played the drone, and he saw the top 3 cards, and he did see an evenly matched among them.
And he just stopped
and
for a second.
Everything changed.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'm just not even going to play in the reality. I get nailed by this.
Yes.
It was like time just stopped for a moment, and he was just like...
Yeah, it's like he fell through a portal in a different dimension or something like that. And then he said, oh my god, I have to play this a little bit differently.
Yeah,
and
I have to play around this now. Otherwise, I'm going to look stupid if I lose to this.
It's interesting to think from Joshua's perspective, if he purchased that matchup, he's like, okay, he's playing Pendulum, so he's going to try and commit. He wants to go first. He wants to commit a lot of cards. Mysteriously, he chose to go second. He saw Spyral Sleeper tough, so he knows I'm playing the go second Spyral deck, so evenly match is a little bit less effective, potentially less effective there. So then at that point he just goes, okay, yeah, we're just gonna come up with something different.
Yeah, that was the first red flag though. Letting him go first.
I would call it a pink flag.
Pink flag.
The red flag was the
yeah. Oh no, that was the second red flag.
Oh, okay.
At this point he was like, no.
At this point he's like, cancel the evening. We're going home. We're going home.
Master plan. You're not coming out. Stay there.
Well, he couldn't get the master plan because of the Ash Blossom on his double helix.
Yeah, he got double helix. Yeah.
But it was just like. He still had a lot of options open to him, and it's just like
it seemed like he was slowing down.
Yeah.
He was stepping on the brake for a little bit, and basically the evenly match couldn't really do anything.
Yeah, Max considered it. He considered, well, what do I get? I get a Link Spider and a Spyral Resort, but I lose a battle phase. And what he chose to do was then summon the Skullcrabat Joker and just attack over the Link Spider. So I don't even think he used his battle phase effectively anyway.
No.
He could have just used the evenly match, took out the 2 cards, then played his turn.
So sometimes you're like considering something, and
but he got Ash Blossomed as well.
The Joker got Ash Blossomed, so
maybe that made
that's probably why he just decided to attack.
It's kind of hard to predict all of that happening.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anything else we have to talk about that regarding that match?
No, I think it's an explosive start to what's going to be a very promising tournament.
Yeah. Yes. Speaking of a promising tournament, we're going to have some analysis from the players themselves for our future feature matches. So we're going to hear from guys like Joschua Schmidt. I'm not sure. Did we have Joshua in?
No, we had Lorenzo Roma, World Championship competitor. We had Tom Rose, winner of YCS Liverpool. And we also had JY Sharif, World Championship competitor for the UK as well. Right. So you get to hear the thoughts of the actual champions telling you about the matchups. You don't have to take our word for anything. We know the Twitch chat is mean, so you can listen to the guys who are actually winning, your heroes.
Yeah, we're going to have that lined up, hopefully, for the second day.
Yeah, so they're going to explain to you guys how this matchup is supposed to go. Yeah. That's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. It was really interesting to hear, and actually, because we did the interviews with them separately, it's to hear how much of it overlaps and how much it differs.
Between the players.
Yeah.
Like, there's like a lot of overlap, and then there's like difference in theory for it, and it'll be interesting to see how much of that plays out this tournament.
Yeah, it was actually really fun to see that. What would be more like, we were just talking about this before the first match. Like, are we going to show it if the player who is talking about it is in the feature match? I think it would be twice as good.
I think it's funnier because you can see if his prediction is going to be correct.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if I was the player, if I said all that, it got shown, and then I lost because of that, I'd be like, maybe.
It's a mean setup. It's a mean setup.
Or if you don't do what you said that you should do in that matchup, like
that would be weird. Yeah,
that would be weird. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's bring him in, the man, the myth, the legend. We're going to be right back with a post-match interview with Joschua Schmidt.